Yes, I am one of those very fortunate 1,300 Jews who were saved by the open door policy of your country under the leadership of President Emmanuel Cassel. I was 7 years old. Open door policy was negotiated politically, and it is a political idea. What I want to share with you is what I experienced, and that is the open heart policy, the open hearts that you gave us, which were far beyond the political that took place. My memories hope to show you in what way your country gave us acceptance and love, respect, and restored the dignity that Nazi Germany tried to take away from us. I very much want to start with Miss Osorio, Nati Osorio, and I am more than thrilled that her daughter is here. Nati Osorio accepted us to the school, Lottie and myself. She taught us the songs and dances that are near and dear to the Philippine people. But Nati Osorio had a very deep understanding of what it means for a child to come into a strange situation with different songs. And so, Nati Osorio saw to it that we also learn waltzes. And I remember her teaching us Merry Widow Waltz because she wanted us to feel at home. And she wanted us to know that we do have a culture. Nati Osorio also introduced us for the first time to the idea of democracy. Who had ever heard that in a class 3rd grade, people can elect a delegate to student council? That is teaching democracy at a very early age. We made decisions. We made decisions about how often and when we should clean, who takes care of the yard, who and when we do assemblies, who participates, and what it's like. Ms. Osorio introduced us to the world of music and its language. The first time I saw notes as a different language to the ABCs was through Ms. Osorio. And now I want us to feel a little closer to one another, because I feel this is virtual, but not enough. I'm going to ask you to sing with me the first song she taught me. And here it goes. Bahay kuko, bahay mundi. Sing along.
Ang doon, ay sari-sari, singkamas at talong, sigarilyas at mayas at manis, sitaw, bataw, patani.
Bring us a little closer. Okay, 3rd grade. What do I remember from 3rd grade was that Ms. Banaag taught us folk stories, wonderful folk stories. But again, I repeat the theme. The theme is your open hearts and understanding. And Ms. Banaag, who did not stop with the story she told us, but she turned to us and said, Lottie and Margot, do you have stories? And we did. We began telling the grim stories. Today we know they were really grim, but the grim stories were part of what we could tell. And again, was the same approach, open with dignity, toward us. In 3rd grade, we also attended assemblies. Each time, a different class was in charge, and Miss Panag thought that I would be very well served if I could recite a poem. I got up very proudly, thinking that I was perfectly prepared. I recited by heart 3 lines, finished. My mind went blank. The audience looked feared, I looked desperate, and there was Miss Panag with open arms and said, Margot, it's okay. It's okay sometimes to fail. And even that showed tremendous understanding. Then came 4th grade. I don't know about the students that are there, but I hated long division, long multiplication tables. Terrible. You lose numbers here and there. I hope today you can use your computers and are not made to do what we were made. It was horrible. But we went through with it. And now I come to the recess periods. Because in the recess periods, we see how the open heart policy went to the students. Here were 2 little girls looking a little different, although the uniforms made up for the differences. And what did we learn? With great patience, they taught us Pico, how to jump in the Pico lanes and not step on the lines. And they were live, and we were very stiff. And it was marvelous to see how patient they were. We learned jump rope. Jump rope of many varieties. 1 went in, then 2 went in, then 3 went in. And again, it was a wonderful learning, and the students were very understanding when Lucky and I tripped up. Because for us, these were new. We were taught jackstones. I don't know, do people play any of this today? And later on, I would love to hear whether some of these games are still played, because to us, they were everything. And then, another open heart. I smelled something one of the girls was eating, and I looked at her, and I said, what is it? And she said, it's a hamburger. Had no idea what a hamburger was. But without a moment's notice, she handed it to me and she said, you must eat it. Again, another evidence of how from the top of the students, everyone showed an open heart and open understanding. The night of December 8th, 1941, we were startled out of our beds by the bombing attack of the Japanese on Nichols Airport. The family, not quite sure what was going on, ran out of the house, and the sky was red. And my father said, I think that the Japanese have attacked. However, came 7:30 in the morning. The PWU bus came to pick us up as usual. I had no idea what was going to happen. I took my doll with me, thinking, oh, she must be with me, because if something happens to the house, dolls were very important to Lottie and me in our lives at the time. We came to school, and Mama B met us. She was the head of the school. Calmly, she had us all meet in the assembly, and she said, unfortunately, we have to close the school down, but only for a while. We're not meaning to have it that shut down long. We are going to have a war, it seems, and those of you who live here will go home to their provinces, and we will let you know when school reopens. I never forget the calmness and the warmth and the reassurance she gave us us when she faced us that fateful morning. Manila, as I remembered it as a little girl, was beautiful. It was marked by beautiful white homes, green lawns, flowering shrubs. Taft Avenue was an avenue. In the middle of it was a green island with trees, flowering shrubs. Manila was the pearl of the Orient. And in the face of the incoming Japanese, both I was going to say Israel, the Philippine government, together with the United States, agreed to declare the city an open city. I don't know if you understand what an open city means. It means that here comes an enemy, but to avoid destroying the city, we allow this enemy, because we have no choice, to march in without destruction and without firing a shot. And so, at the beginning of January 1942, the Japanese marched into Manila. What did it mean for PWU? The PWU campus was taken over by the Japanese army. But true to her word, Mama B and Nati Osorio opened the elementary school in an old building that they had owned. And Nati Osorio interviewed us and said, I know you were at the beginning of 4th grade, but let not this war spoil it for you. We're moving you all into 5th grade. And so, we went into 5th grade, and for the 5th and 6th grade, I had the greatest teacher ever. Her name was Miss Margot. Miss Margot was special. She was that beautiful combination of teacher who was strict, demanding, warm, and very enthusiastic about what she taught. Under the Japanese, the curriculum changed, of course. We learned weaving, abaca weaving. I became a specialist in weaving baskets and placemats. We were taught gardening instead of geography. And we were taught the Japanese language, and we were taught Japanese songs. Every day at 10 o'clock, we had to leave the buildings, and I believe most of the people, even the business buildings, emptied out into the streets, and the Japanese made us exercise. That was the regime under the Japanese. There were a few words that turned out to be crucial for me that I learned from the Japanese. One was okasan, and one was okasama, mother and father. When the Japanese, in the battle for Manila, burnt our home while we were in it, my father and I managed to come out, but they would not let my mother out of the burning building. And then I started screaming, "Okasan, Okasan," and they let my mother out because they heard the Japanese expressions and wondered what they were. We attended many rallies. Attending was so that Ms. Manzo said, we don't come and attend the rallies, when the Japanese generals come, our grades would suffer. Being very careful about our grades, the whole school turned out to these rallies. Lottie and I got around then by bicycles. Our classmates, most of them used karamatas and caratelas. My mother had the foresight and bought shoes several sizes bigger so that I would have what to wear in the war. But I refused to wear them because I preferred batyas. Because my classmates were batyas, and I certainly wasn't going to wear something other than batyas. Now I come back to this special quality of Miss Margot. In the face of Japanese supervisors coming around now and then, she closed the doors of the classroom and began to teach us about the katikuna. We began to hear the history, the hard history of the Philippines from his mom. The Katipunan, which was a revolutionary group that began to recognize the importance of raising up against the Spanish rule, which was destroying the country. The gleam in her eyes and the dignity with which she taught us the names of such people as Bonifacio, and most of all, Jose Rizal. I had no idea, what is this idea of hero? What is a hero? Well, it turns out that Jose Rizal was the first hero I understood, really. He was a man whose mother taught him. By 3 years old, he already read. He got an education in Germany, became an eye doctor. Came home and found that the Katipunan had organized. Jose Rizal wrote two books. He wrote, No Limitan, Don't Tread on Me, and he wrote the book El Filibusterismo. People, a few years have gone by, I have never forgotten them, because here was a man with enough courage to show through his novels what really was going on in the country. And the pride with which he taught us and the courage this Margot showed will always be with me. These were formative years in my life. They laid the foundation in me for the acceptance of others, for importance of giving others the sense of dignity and independence, and to have courage in one's beliefs. I was never made to feel less because I was a refugee or an immigrant. I was always allowed to be part of. And I am deeply thankful for letting me express my gratitude to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Safta Margot. Thank you for sharing with us those precious childhood memories. But now our panelists would like to ask you some questions, so the camera will be facing our panelists, please.
Don't be shy. It's okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Naomi.
I'm sorry I don't see you. You're somehow under my face on the screen. There you go.
Hi, I'm Naomi.
Nice to meet you, dear.
Nice to meet you too. So, did you have a favorite Filipino food when you were in Manila?
Did I have what?
Favorite food. Filipino food.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Look, I will tell you about several foods. First of all, the first time that I smelled Margot, that was terrible. But then I learned to love to eat green mangoes and Margot. It's wonderful. And then lanzones and so many other things. The list is very long, and santos and mangoes of Carabao mangoes and pico mangoes and on and on and on. So yes, the answer is yes.
Thank you po. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Lara.
Hi, Byron.
Did you learn any Filipino or Tagalog words?
I did. In fact, I learned the entire the alphabet and all, but I regret to say it got lost. I have since had to learn Spanish and had to learn Hebrew, and I speak German, so you can imagine at 80 it's a very confused thing in my head. I'm sorry I do not remember enough except for some of the songs.
Salamat, and it means thank you.
Okay, yes, I do remember.
Good afternoon. I am Cassel.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I would like to ask, what do you love most about PWU?
What did I learn most?
What do you love most about PWU?
What I learned most?
Love.
What I love most? I think I love most the songs and dances we learned. The songs and dances which were so new to us, but we took to them, Lucky and I, to the point where when friends got together, we danced them for them also, not only in school. There was something beautiful, melodic, and rhythmic in them, and we felt very enriched by them. So I think that this learning that part of your culture was of great importance to us.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. I'm Josh.
Can we see you?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Josh. If ever World War II never happened or existed, would you still consider studying here?
I don't understand the question. What are you trying to understand?
If World War II never happened or existed, would you still consider studying here?
I would have never known about you. In other words, if there had been no war, I would have grown up in Germany, like, as though nothing happened. But the world isn't like that, and the world to the future doesn't look like that either. We have history repeating itself, unfortunately, on different places.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, Margot. I am Natty's daughter, Franny.
Franny, you have no idea how excited I was when I heard you would be here.
It's an honor and a delight to meet you. I was just wondering, my mother said during the war, of course, it was a very dangerous time. Where did they live? Did they live here in PWU or did the teachers live somewhere else?
I don't know where the teachers, I think everyone came from different provinces and during the war went home. But once the Philippine University opened? It's a good question. We all lived in Manila, I think.
Yeah, but what I heard wasn't it somewhere around here, or did they live in the premises? Would you have known? No.
That I don't know.
Oh, okay. Anyway, like you, I learned Bahay Kubo from my mother. And we can sing it again. But I am delighted to meet you.
No, if we sing at the end, I would love you to do me a big favor. My favorite song was Sampaguita.
Oh, maybe you have to teach us that song. We never learned it. Anyway.
Maybe you know it in Tagalog. It goes like this. Lovely bloom of the Sampaguita. La da dee
Yes. I remember now. She didn't teach me that though. She taught me Bahay Kubo. So maybe now you can teach me Sampaguita. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Gigi Pirata. I'm the granddaughter of Doreen Gamboa.
Okay.
Yes.
Doreen Gamboa, I don't think it was Doreen, but Miss Gamboa continued the studies in 7th grade with us after we left Miss Manto. And unfortunately, that's when shortly after that, the battle for the liberation of Manila began, and we were dispersed. Again, the school had closed. So our term with Ms. Gamboa was much shorter, but she carried on very much in the vein that Ms. Manto had started.
Thank you.
Our panelists, do you have any more questions for SAFTA, Margot? Because there are some students here, SAFTA, Margot, that would like to ask you some questions. Any of the students, if you would like to ask questions, could you please come up here to the podium? Could you please stand now?
Good morning. My name is Mary Rose.
Good morning. I am very, very interested in your questions because I want to know where you people are at this day in life. Go ahead.
What values of Filipinos made an impact to you and why?
You didn't understand here. Slowly.
What values of Filipinos made an impact to you and why?
I believe the Filipinos made an impact on me by their readiness to accept the other. Life, very often, when a stranger other than yourself comes, the first reaction is one of hesitation and estrangement. But we never felt that loving and kind. We received smiles, and they asked, where are you from, and tell us about yourself, and included us in all their games. And I think that kind of openness, and that is what I mean by open souls. And I think you understand that when we talk and learn about the resources of your country, aside from rice and wood and the great coconut, the big resource are your hearts, the hearts you give, and the hearts you give also overseas through the caretakers that are taking care of many of our aged indigents. So those are the values that I still love and respect.
Good afternoon, I'm Trixie.
life did you learn in PWU that still applies to you up to now and help you make decisions?
I think that learning, I repeat the idea of learning to accept the other. In life, I was able to go to Africa, for example, and find these wonderful people who had suffered so much. I'm talking of street women who were in the streets because they had no economic resources, and found that when these people were given a way of life by earning their own keep in a just way, that kind of dignity and my ability to help them was a very important lesson that I simply carried on from something that had been given to me and that I could then give in return.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. My name is Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Did you know anything about the Philippines before you came?
No, Andrea, I'm glad you asked, because when we met with relatives who stayed in Germany, and we proudly said we're going to the Philippine Islands, they said, oh my goodness, you're going to be in a country where the elephants and tigers are walking through the streets. So at the time in Europe, or I would say specifically Germany where I was, they knew nothing, less than nothing. I think the only thing they finally grasped was that they spoke English as a means of communication, but they knew very little. Today, the world is smaller, Andrea, and because of communication, I think the world knows much more about the Philippine Island. Agree?
Yes.
Thank you, Margot. Safta Margot. Before we let you go, we just want you to know how wonderful it is for you to share your memories with us, and we wish that we could just keep asking you questions the whole day and just sit at your foot and just listen to your stories. We hope we can welcome you back to Philippine Women's University live, and that will be our hope.
I want you to know that I will be in the Philippines in February.
That's wonderful news. Santa Margot, I don't know if you have your family with you, seated beside you. We would like to see them, and if you could introduce them to us.
Oh, surely. Okay. I don't know where the camera is pointing. I have to my far right and my son-in-law.
Oh.
Who is a teacher.
Okay, there we go. Nice to meet you.
He also leads a whole group in their studies. And next to him is my daughter Michelle.
Hello, Michelle.
You may have heard of the Hadassah Hospital. And Michelle has been working there for many, many years. Okay? And then to my left. Oh! Behind me is Adam, my creative grandson who plays the guitar. And here is Sheer, also creative. Sheer is a graduate of the Cassel Art School. Then next
Thank you, Sal and Margot. It's so nice to meet your family. And before we let you go, we would just like the camera to pan in the audience so you can see who are here to listen to you. Can we have the camera just go around?
That's lovely, thank you. Lovely, 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 lovely.
Thank you, Safta Margot, and it's so nice meeting your family. And before we go, for you, we are the members of the PWU Festival Chorale would like to sing you a special song. And this is, yes. So can we ask the members of the chorale to please come up?